Document 8, trying to discover whether or not the Brazilian government should develop the Amazon rainforest. Document 8. Document 8 says that it is sustainable management of the forest. Now, as we go through and read this, you'll see that really we get both sides of the argument really well on this one. And if we start all the way at the very top, it says Brazil needs to exploit the Amazon resource to develop. So leaving it untouched is not an option. And that's a really good quote that can help you going forward, especially if you're on that, yes, Brazil must develop this rainforest. Now, it goes on and it says, uncontrolled and unchecked exploitation can cause irreversible damage, such as loss of biodiversity, soil erosion, flooding, and climate change. This is one of those quotes right there that we could use in the no, it should not be developed. So sustainable use of the forest is essential. Sustainable development will meet the needs of Brazil's population without compromising the needs of future generations. Possible strategies include agroforestry, growing trees and crops at the same time. Let farmers take advantage of the shelter from the canopy of the trees. It prevents soil erosion, and the crops benefit from the nutrients of the dead organic materials. One popular method of using agroforestry is in coffee growing. Coffee actually grows much better in the shade and in high areas that makes a much stronger and expensive bean. So that is one of those ones that could work in there. Selective logging. Trees are only felled when they reach a particular height. This allows young trees, and guarantees a lifespan, and the forest will regain full maturity after around 30 to 50 years. Education. Ensuring those involved in exploitation and management of the forest understand the consequences behind their actions. Afforestation, the opposite of deforestation. If trees are cut down, they are replaced to maintain the canopy. Forest reserves, areas protected from exploitation, monitoring, use of satellite technology, and photography to check that any activities taking place are legal and follow guidelines for sustainability. So if we see in this document, they're actually promoting the development of the rainforest if done within certain guidelines. So we definitely can use some of this for that yes category, which we have been missing in the previous 7 arguments. Now, if we were to classify this document into economic, social, political, or environmental, this would all fit under that environmental issue. So let's go through and answer these questions. Using context clues define sustainable development, and sustainable development is using a resource so that it can be used over again. And really what defines something as sustainable is if it can be used again and again by generation after generation. So for example, think about those rubber tappers that we talked about before. Rubber tappers carve a line into that tree, they collect the sap that they turn into rubber. They don't harm the tree, and they can go back over and over and over again. They have been harvesting sap from the same trees since the 1870s. That is sustainable. What is the main idea of this document? If used properly, the Amazon rainforest can be developed. Notice that they give some guidelines, that they say that, you know what, hey, it must be monitored. We should have some areas that are reserved, that we need to practice different ways. We don't need to, if we allow this to go on unchecked, then there will be problems. But if we monitor, if we keep control of, and we set laws and procedures for using this, it can be done so in a good way. Now we want to get to this portion right here, the yes and the no. Yes, we should be able to develop the rainforest environmentally. In the article it says right here, Brazil needs to exploit the Amazon's resources to develop. So that we're saying environmentally, in order to develop, as a country, Brazil needs the rainforest. And they also say as long as they do it, as long as development is monitored and done so in a sustainable way, the rainforest can be developed. Now, we can also say environmentally no. It should not be. Right here in the article, it says that uncontrolled and unchecked exploitation can cause irreversible damage. Irreversible damage. Now think, is a satellite image enough oversight to protect the rainforest? Can we, just by going through and looking at pictures taken by satellites, go through and say, you know what, the way that these guys are using it is proper? How do you otherwise make sure or monitor that it is being used correctly? It's simply too big of a space with too many remote areas in order for it to be properly monitored. And some people would also argue that point of view, saying, you know what, this is not something that the government or man is capable of doing. So just staying out of there is a much better and safer idea. If you still have any questions, make sure to hit us up on the back channel chats. Make sure you go to todaysmeet.com and then enter your room number. And then from there, we can answer anything that you might have questions on.